So there's a tremendous gap in the support system between people finishing off at withdrawal management, at the detox, and waiting to go to treatment. And over the years, at one time, we were able to, send people right from our facility right into treatment. It just, that wasn't a problem, and that's what we did for many years. That is no longer the case. People are now waiting, men and women are now waiting anywhere from 14 days to 3 months, sometimes longer depending on the treatment facility, where it is, gender specific. And what happens with somebody when they're leaving detox and they've come from a homeless situation is that we are sending them back into the same situation. We're sending them back into, basically throwing them back into addiction. And we lose so many people in that time frame. And I just can't stress enough that people are dying out there unnecessarily because there is no safe place to house people waiting for treatment. Our facility does a wonderful job. We do some pre-treatment things, and we try and get some self-discipline going of making sure that people are on a bit of a routine coming from wherever they're coming from. They can be coming from their own home, and a lot of people can't return to their own home because of situations that have gone on, and they're just not welcome to go back. Parents, wives, husbands, aunts, uncles, grandmothers, grandfathers, whatever. We wreak a lot of havoc in our addiction, and we'll continue to do that until we get some recovery under our belt.
I had a friend that worked for Ozanam House, and he passed away, and I came here for a memorial and was offered to do some shifts and to start working with the men who resided here. And from there, I became full-time, and then I became the director.
When I left detox, I had to wait 30 days before I could get into a treatment center. At this time, a friend of mine that worked in detox had set me up with some aftercare meetings at a treatment center that I could go to get me through those 30 days before I got into treatment. I also had a friend that was in the 12-step program that I met while I was in detox, and he would come up once or twice a week to my place and, help me out and take me to meetings and, make sure that I was on the right path. He would do small things like bring me a coffee and give me some cigarettes. He never gave me no money or anything, and that was a good thing. Money wasn't what I needed. I needed a friend at that time. He had faith in me, and he wanted to help and didn't want anything in return. So I went to treatment, and while I was at treatment, I knew I couldn't go back to where I was because every time I had tried, I would go back to the same atmosphere and I would relapse. This time I didn't want to relapse. So he mentioned about the house here in Barrie, the St. Vincent de Paul home. I met with Ron while I was at detox, and he told me to contact him when my treatment was finished. I didn't know if I was getting in or not when I left treatment. I came here, had a meeting with them, and I had to wait a little while, and I got in. I believe that they gave me a chance, and I had to prove myself to not only them but to myself that I could do what I wanted to this time.
A pre-treatment center is critical in the addiction continuum for two reasons. One, because the wait times for intensive residential treatment have been longer and longer over the past 20 years. So people are coming out of a withdrawal management center and are still having to wait 2 to 3 months before securing a bed in a residential treatment center. In that 2 to 3 months, it's very difficult for them to maintain their abstinence. It's difficult for them to find any type of housing because many are homeless.
As a committee, we've discussed the need of a pre-treatment home. A pre-treatment home is a home that would be used for a person who has left detox and has a sincere interest in going into a treatment center, which usually means a delay of upwards of 3 months. In this case, unless there is a home for them to go to, they have to go back to the same environment they just came from. And it's kind of a hopeless set of circumstances. St. Vincent de Paul in Toronto 20 years ago started a home to do just this. It's called Ozanam House. It accommodates 13 men who have left detox and are waiting to go into treatment. It has 24/7 care by 7 professional individuals, has a budget of approximately $300,000 a year, funded by the Ministry of Health. Very, very successful operation. We would like to present a similar proposition to the Society of St. Vincent de Paul in Barrie to accommodate the individual leaving detox and waiting for treatment.
Our pre-treatment home serves 11 men, so we have 8 staff on shift. We are single shifted, which means there is only 1 staff on site at any given time, but we are staffed 24 hours, so the men are never left unsupervised. Some of the staff have their own recovery, and most of our staff have some type of certification within the addiction field, whether it be a college or university education.
As far as pre-treatment goes, I look at that more or less the same as what I looked at this house. It is just something, a facility that is so badly needed here in Barrie, an area. And when we started this house up, we realized that when the fellas come out of treatment, I'll say Hope Acres again, it could be 7 South in Arroyo, whichever treatment facility they come out of, and they end up back in this area, and they have nowhere to live other than maybe a hotel room upstairs in the Simcoe Hotel, and sleep upstairs, and they end up living downstairs. So, and the same goes when they come out of detox. If they have nowhere, no support group that'll help them out, it's very, very hard for them once they've been dropped back out into the civilization, into the civilian life, to be able, because that's where their downfall was, not being able to deal with everyday experiences and challenges that were put to them. And they need a structured facility to live in until they can get into treatment, because that can run from anywhere from a week to 3 weeks to a month to 2 months. And if they got to wait that long, their chances of staying sober and getting into their treatment facility is very poor.